Hi, this is Axursus, a show that sometimes look at Gundam crossover figurines and see how saga they are. Because they are crossover original designs, they are pretty much what they are. So the rankings would be more onto my personal taste, really, because they will be faithful to the original, but how well they are translated into the given physical format is up to me to judge. This is Zaku-gu Miku, a Hatsune Miku and Gundam crossover. Now, while Gundam have seniority, Hatsune Miku has more general appeal. And I would have to say this is not as bold as you may think, because when I do produce a lot of chibi, SD, or other more child-friendly, family-friendly appeal Gundam products, so this is not out of that realm. As for Saga, it stands for Style, Action, Gimmick, and Absence. Style generally or usually is how much does the figurine resemble its counterparts in other medias like anime, games, or illustrations. As for Zaku-gu Miku, because it is a crossover original design, so this is it. This is the design. And we got the signature Hatsune Miku twin tails. We got her signature hair. The face, we can say, is a bit of a general anime face, but with the hair and the coloring, it is unmistakably Miku. As for the Zaku parts, this is Zaku 2, which is, usually the Zaku. When you say Zaku 1, it will be old Zaku, like we have mentioned. It has the mono eye as a button of this presumably pajama, if not mascot suit. And then we still have the Zaku snout and the pulse transmission cables, conduits, probably just as flavors, but it does separate the hair quite well. We got the chest plate, separate chest coloring, not much to see on the leg part. The feet, not super accurate, but they look like Zaku feet. And Bandai really want to put into work for the bottom of the feet. Even this figurine has sculpt on it. As for the back, you might think this backpack kind of looks like the Zaku backpack, but why is it just a general Japanese school bag? Well, the ransel is what they call the backpacks for Gundams in Japanese. So for Zaku-gu Miku to have a actual ransel in this fabric type of suit is actually it's a good reference and a good design choice. We have presumably the elbow guard up near the hand, which is a bit too far down on it, but it breaks up the monotone of the arm pretty well. And then we also got a button at the back of the pulse transmission conduits. It's a nice touch, not necessarily authentic, but it's a nice touch. And if you have noticed, they do have a space or opening for a blade antenna in case there would be a commander or char type. While this is the design we get to see on the Miku crossover Gundam website for the most of the time, I would have to say the backpack is a nice surprise, and the feet as well. The build quality, well, this is a PVC sort of one piece sculpture. Well, not really one piece, but mostly a sculpture for display. It is not, like you can see the seam line here, it is not the best build quality, but it is pretty good for what it's supposed to be. I'll talk a little bit more about that in absence. Let's say I would give this an S for style because action, yeah. Next is action. Action isn't just the number of articulations, but also how useful these articulations are. As for Zaku-gu Miku here, it has no articulation. None. Zero. Zip. It can stand pretty stably, and it's almost like it's a Zaku Plush or mascot suit, if not for the hair betraying Miku. So yeah, let's just give it a D for action because it can't do anything but stand. I know for what it is, it's not meant to have any action, but usually is not the right word. But in general, for a Gundam, like a lot of Gundam sculpture would have a little bit of head movement or a little bit of arm movement or little bits of probably what will be gimmick, but other robot things that can move. This have none. So it is a D. That's just how the ranking goes. Next is Gimmick. Gimmick are the onboard weapons, optional weapons, and other functionality of the mobile suit. For Zaku-gu Miku, yeah, no, like you can't really open the backpack. The hair doesn't have anything, none of these. But we do have a spring onion. Well, more like a shallot. It's negi. Uh, it's confusing enough in Japanese. So let's just say it is a negi. It is the standard equipment for Miku, and I would have to say this is pretty intimidating or pretty cute, depending on how you feel about negi. It is a good gimmick. It is included in the illustration. Would I wish there are more gimmick? Yes. But I don't think they show more of other gimmicks on the crossover website. So let's give it a B. Because one simple item just isn't a lot, even if it is low accurate. Last and probably not least for Zaku-gu Miku is absence. To be honest, because this is more of a raffle, claw machine, or just general, cheap is probably not the right words, but more of a standard display sculpture toy. It is collectible, but it is mostly just to be what it is, a physical representation of an illustration. And I do think the extra detail they added on the backside and the foot are really beyond, well, not quite beyond the Call of Duty, but enough for you to spend money, on MSRP for this kind of stuff instead of a 2D variant of this design. And yeah, the size, it is taller than a 1:144 HG, and it is no more expensive. So I can't complain about the price or absence too much. It is a pretty solid piece. It's pretty hefty. So I would give it an A for absence. So the verdict for the Zaku-gu Miku simple sculpture toy is S for style, D for action, B for gimmick, and A for absence. Overall, if you are a Miku fan, if you're a Gundam fan, if you're a Zaku fan, if you just like cute crossover designs, I think this is a good pick. I can see a lot of scalpering surrounding this item, but at least for me, I pre-ordered it. It came in on date, I think. I just picked it up slightly later. So it should have a good float for a while, but I am not sure about its availability after, say, 6 or 12 months. I would surely hope Bandai or Sega continue a reasonable amount of production, for it to spread out, unless there are actually warehouse full of these things that, we see them on sale years later. Who knows? But at least for its MSRP, it is pretty good for what it is. It is a pretty sizable piece. So yeah. Thanks for watching. See you next time.